and welcome to Bob's Garden. It's a beautiful day here in the Northwest Hills of Connecticut, and I'm taking advantage of the nice weather outdoors to get some cacti repotted. This is a Fairy Castle Cacti. It's Cereus, that's the genus. It goes under the many names of the species, but it's a really good cactus for the indoors. It likes to be outside during the summertime. It gets as much sun as you can possibly give it. And also, I put this under a roof eave so it doesn't get too much water with rain here. This is more of a succulent, and it does need to be dried out very thoroughly in between waterings, but you might need to water this every 2 weeks. So the more sun you can give it, the better. But it will also grow under grow lights. And I have two 60-watt LED lights that are just about this far from the top of it. And I have that all winter long, and it does quite well with that. These would be happier. When I purchased this, I got it. It came in a plastic pot. These would be happier in a clay pot because they'll dry out quicker. So I'm going to show you how to get this into its proper pot. Indoors, you don't want this any near air conditioning. They like to be hot and dry. That's the whole thing about this particular cactus if you want to be successful with it. The more sun, the better. So when we do pot up, we don't want to get into a much larger pot than this. We don't want to get into a big size. Now, curiously enough, these are native to Mexico, South America, parts of the United States, but these can get up to 6 feet tall. They rarely bloom, and when they bloom, they do have a white flower. It's said that it probably takes 10 years for it to bloom. You may see these in stores with what looks like to be a flower, a yellow one, and what that is they graft those on to the cactus to sell them more, as if the name Fairy Castle, you want to buy it anyway just from the name. But they'll graft a little flower on those, and after a month or so those flowers will fall off. Don't worry about it. But try to get one without those grafted flowers on there. So this is fairly simple. You really don't need any gloves for this. You might want to if you like. But we just take this out, we squeeze the pot a little bit, and you can see this is fairly still damp in here. I would prefer it to be a little drier than this, but that just goes to show you this was watered about 2 weeks ago, and it doesn't need to be watered yet. It's starting to dry out in here a little bit. So we're just gonna tease this out with a sharpened chopstick. And the whole key to this is excellent drainage. I've got a soil mix here. You can use a cactus and succulent soil mix that you can buy. The one that I have was made by our local Cactus and Succulent Society here in Connecticut. And they have a show every April. Or I should say we, because I'm a member. And it's an excellent mix. We have a mix party, and we all get in there and put everything together. You want a very dry, free draining mix. So you can see this is very shallow rooted, as most succulent and cacti are. They like to grab water that's closest to the soil before it all drains away, and that should be good enough. So we're gonna layer our stones in here. We're gonna put this down. So our first stones, now this must be washed. Do not skip this part, or you're going to end up with mud down in here, and that will be really bad for the cactus. So we just put a few of those larger drainage stones first, and then now I have some Espoma soil perfector. We take a handful of this, put that in there. And now we're ready for our soil. Connecticut Cactus and Succulent Society Cactus Soil Mix. It's got coir, which is a coconut husk, coarse sand, and shell. So you can see this mix in here. It's very rocky and it's very free flowing. So we'll get some of this in here. And we want this about this level here. And then I have these little scoops in here. You want to get this so that it's at this level up here, and you don't want to go above the level of the previous soil that was in there. So you don't want to bury it. It's got to be raised up a little bit. And then it's a matter of, now you don't want to push your fingers into this like you do with regular house plant, because you do not want to compact the soil. So this is where this sharpened chopstick comes in, and we just go around and work that in to the soil that's there. And you just want to kind of poke and jiggle like this, just like you would with a bonsai. Very similar. Now they will take a little bit less light than normal cactus, so you know they'll adapt. They'll adapt to the household. So that's one of the benefits of this particular type of cactus, and it's quite easy. So if you're new at this, this is a good one to get. You prefer to do this when it's completely dry. And one of the reasons for that is we do want to water this after we're finished, so that the soil will settle. So depending on your conditions, you may have to just do water once a month, or you may have to water every 2 weeks. 2 weeks is more likely, because they do like to be a little bit wetter than a regular cactus. And just keep on working this in so no more soil will go in, and you can see it's not disappearing anymore. So we're all set. Now the last part of this is I like to put a little top dressing on this, and that's why I left some room in here for that. And there are many different kinds of top dressing. There are ones that are like a coarse sand that you can put on top. I don't like those particularly. I do best with using pea stone. And again, you must absolutely, you have to wash the pea stone. Run water through that until it's completely clear. Because what will happen is if you don't do that, you end up with a muddy mess at the bottom of the pot, and it's going to kill the plant. So this helps to keep the base of the cactus dry. And again, don't pack it down, just nice and loose on top. And just level it out, and we're all set. So it's such a nice difference between what that was in and where it is now. And this will be very happy. Now, this will need repotting every 2 to 3 years. What happens is that fertilizer or regular salts from your tap water will get into the soil and degrade the soil, and that soil will kind of wear out after a bit. So every 2 to 3 years you want to do this kind of repotting, and it's very regular. You have to do this every 3 years. Don't let it go for 5 years without repotting, because it'll deteriorate. Now, as far as fertilizer goes, you never ever use fertilizer in the winter time. When you do fertilize, I would do this in the spring. I do it in the summer and just in the fall. Some people will fertilize these every month. That's okay. But it's got to be very, very weak fertilizer. You can use a cactus fertilizer. I use C-Max, which is 16, 16, 16, at a rate of a 1/4 teaspoon per gallon of water. And we just do that in the spring, midsummer, and fall. And this is a cactus you can enjoy for your household. So thank you for watching Bob's Garden, and we'll see you next time. Remember to share, comment, and subscribe to my videos, and be curious, not judgmental.